What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna hopefully diagnose what's wrong with my 2GR swapped MR2. I believe the last video I posted on this car, I had just dynoed it. It made 280 to the wheels. Car did great, no issues. Since then, I've been driving it and just enjoying it. I was at an event, and in the second part of my run, I noticed there was a bunch of smoke, so I'll show you guys that clip here. After that run, I took the car back into the pits. I looked it over to see if there was like some visible leak or just something that would indicate like what that smoke was coming from, and I couldn't find anything. I was actually gonna let my friend take another ride in the car, and when he turned it on, it started smoking so bad that I actually thought that there was a fire for a second, so we just shut the car off and stopped running it. I decided it was safer just to get the car towed home, so that's what I ended up doing. Once I got the car back to the shop, it'd been a few hours, so I decided to turn it on to see if the smoke was still there. Unfortunately, it was, and then under load, it got substantially worse. There wasn't any check engine lights, so I checked the codes. There was 2 pending engine codes that had to do with both banks running lean. I checked the live data, and one of the things that stood out to me was that the fuel trims were way higher than they should be. They were about 20. My immediate thought was there's probably a vacuum leak somewhere, and I was right. It turns out that this line, so this is actually for the PVC, it goes from here to the intake manifold. This line cracked and was causing a vacuum leak. Obviously, a vacuum leak is gonna make a car run bad, but I'm not convinced that it's gonna cause that amount of smoke, so I'm still a little bit concerned. I also understand that when you swap this engine into this chassis, under heavy load, it can cause smoke if you don't run a catch can, just because the PVC system can, you know, push up a bunch of oil and get that in the intake manifold, and naturally it gets burned through the in the combustion process. I've talked to a few people who've experienced it. Some of it has been like really minor, where there's just light, you know, smoke coming out. Others have talked about it was like, you know, they're smoking up a chimney, so to speak. So that could potentially explain the smoke situation that I'm having, but obviously we want to try to dive a little bit deeper and really try to diagnose it. I'm filming this portion of the video the day after the event, so that means that at this point the car has sat for about 24 hours. I think the first step I'm gonna take is literally just turn the car on, see if it still smokes. All right, this car was literally on for 10 seconds, and look at all of that. That's pretty bad. I'm definitely concerned about this. I'm thinking that the next step we're gonna take is we're gonna remove these spark plugs. I would like to examine the plugs just to kind of see what the condition of those are, because, you know, that can give us some information. And then I have a camera that I can put in the cylinders and also inspect those as well. I'm just looking to see if there's any visible damage or anything that just sticks out. If there's not, I think we'll just at that point move forward with a compression test. We got the first spark plug out. This thing is obviously super fouled up. The big thing though is that it is visibly wet, and it actually smells like gas pretty bad. So right now, what I can say is because of the vacuum leak, I think what was happening was the ECU was compensating by dumping a bunch of fuel in the engine. So maybe what my issue is the car ran too lean, and the vacuum leak there was worse than I thought, and that caused some issues. All the spark plugs are out. Every single one of them is all fouled up. All of them wet, all super fouled up. I got the camera, and I do apologize that this is probably not the best view. I really need to get myself a better snake cam. When I look in there, there's carbon buildup, but there's nothing in this particular cylinder that stands out. And that is the, I actually don't remember the cylinders off the top of my head, but this is the one closest to the cabin firewall on the passenger side. We're gonna go over to this one, and that's a different story. We have the camera inserted into this cylinder over here. This cylinder, everything's just wet. And the big thing is, if you pay attention to this particular part right here, there's actually liquid that's pooled up in there. And if I rotate this, you'll see it's the same thing on the other side. It's not a lot, but there's still some in there. I put the camera down those two cylinders, so the one closest to the passenger side and the middle, both of them were soaking wet. And at that point, I was thinking that, you know, maybe what I could get away with is just trying to dry up the cylinders, putting fresh plugs in there, and fixing the vacuum leak, and maybe I'd get lucky, and then I'd revisit the catch can down the road. Once I got to the last cylinder, I realized that wasn't gonna happen. We're looking at the piston. Again, I apologize, it's probably not the best quality on your guys' end, but the part of the piston that I'm looking at is supposed to be raised right here. And then if we go to the other side, you're gonna see that there's actually pooling in there. And again, this is an area of the piston that's supposed to be raised. So it literally melted, and whatever fluid's going in there and was building up is just pooling in that area. So looks like I melted a piston. I don't know if I'll end up taking this completely apart, but maybe I lost a chunk of it. But either way, this cylinder's no good. It has been a couple hours since that last clip. I just took a little bit of time to walk away because I'm trying to wrap my head around this situation, because I've had situations on other cars where I have a small vacuum leak like I did here. And usually there was some sort of symptom that went along with it, like poor fuel economy, the car would run funny, there'd be a check engine light, and this just didn't have anything. It went from like essentially 0 to 100, like just like that. Now, it is completely possible that I guess that caused the engine to go lean enough that it caused all these issues, but I'm kind of wondering if there's just something else going on here. Maybe there's a fueling issue, like the fuel filter got clogged or something. I mean, this car did sit for a long time, right? I mean, another possibility is this is a junkyard engine. Maybe I just got super unlucky and the engine that I got just happened to have some issues with it and it's just now showing its face. I just don't really have a good answer right now, but what I can say is the engine's definitely gonna come out. I'm gonna go get another one. I'll go through that one, make sure that one's good. And then like on the chassis side of things, I'm gonna make sure to go through the fuel system and just anything else that could be related to that, just to cover all my bases. This car is my priority, which means I'm probably just gonna keep this thing tucked away in the corner over here, and I'll get to it after I'm done getting this car completely straightened out. I am in a very fortunate position that, well, first off, I own this car outright. Secondly, this is my own shop space, so it can just sit here and it's not gonna bother anything. I'm gonna be able to reuse most of the parts that I did or that I used to do this swap initially, so like wiring harness, transmission, clutch, flywheel, etc. I am gonna need to buy obviously a new engine, so I'm gonna probably budget about $1,000 for that, and I'm gonna budget like an extra $500 for all that miscellaneous stuff, because I'm gonna need to buy coolant, oil. There's just gonna be miscellaneous seals I wanna replace on the new engine. My goal is to have all the parts acquired by the end of July, and then come the first weekend of August, my goal is to actually put the new engine in. It happens to be my birthday that weekend, so I'm already gonna have a few days off from work, and instead of doing a trip to one of the tracks I plan on going to, I'm gonna be fixing this car instead. And then if I can get the new engine in that weekend, I'll have, you know, the better part of a month to get some seat miles on the car or street miles on the car, make sure that everything's running good. And then hopefully at the end of September, I can hit ORP with it. To be totally transparent, this does suck because this is gonna cost me more time and money, especially when my goal this year has been to try to hit the track, and that just hasn't happened. But when I take a step back in the grand scheme of things, it's really hard to not be grateful, because like I'm fortunate enough to be able to experience a really cool project like this when other people may not get that opportunity. So I always try to have perspective about these things. Anyways, next time I post a video on this car, I will be removing the engine and we're gonna start the rebuild process on it. See you in the next video when we start that.